so he can hate me as much as you want. Oh, Coach Greg, you're talking about Sam Sulek too much. Yeah, whatever. But I want you to learn something. I want you to be able to go to the gym and eat effectively to maximize your progress. Coach Greg, in today's video, Sam Sulek joins Bro Chat, and in particular, he's speaking with Fouad Abiad, Ian Valliere, Mike Van Wyck, and Paul Lauzon. The most interesting part of the conversation surrounds Sam Sulek's diet. Of course it's his diet. Everyone, including Sam Sulek and myself, can learn from them.
Sam, how often do you binge, or like is most of it just geared to your calories?
Well, I mean, in a dieting context.
And so Sam's asked, how often do you binge? And he's saying, well, on a cut? Because have you not seen my diet? Why would I ever want to binge? I'm literally binging every single day. He's eating donuts, burgers, chocolate milk. And so why would he want to binge on top of that? He essentially eats everything he wants, following an if it fits your macros diet. And so of course not. He's not binging. But when it comes time to cut, and he is in a very low calorie diet, under 2,500 calories a day, up from 5,000 calories when he's bulking, and he says, well, the first week or two, no big deal. I'm actually sick and tired of eating all that junk. But remember, Sam has amazing genetics. Amazing genetics to not only put on muscle, but to be lean. Very similar to Ian Valliere, who I have in fact coached in the past. Ian could eat a ton of food, always stays lean. And so if Ian even misses one meal, he can watch his weight go down several pounds on the scale. But for the most part, most of us, we're not like that. If we eat a calorie surplus, don't follow a proper diet, a lot of us can get fat. These guys, very lucky, very fortunate that they don't put on a ton of weight when they're binging.
There's not even a need for it to really have like a cheat day per se. It's almost like kind of always a cheat day.
Every day is a cheat day, and so he doesn't need cheat days when he's on a bulk.
So I actually have a good question, because we were talking about your cut while you were bulking.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you were going to go down to like 2,500 calories. And at the time you were taking in like 5,000 or some shit. Have you cut that far, or did you take my advice?
No, I just smashed it. That's what I've done the last two cuts.
And so myself and Fouad, we don't always see eye to eye, but on this particular subject, we believe the exact same thing. Sam Sulek did not need to cut his calories down to 2,500 or less. And he's eating 5,000 calories a day on a bulk. And so Fouad said, why would you cut your calories this low? It could impair your ability to put on muscle. Best case scenario, you're simply going to maintain the muscle that you put on, but don't you want to put on more? Why would you go on such a low calorie diet that you're sacrificing some of that muscle? Yes, he states in his video that you have muscle memory and you can regain that muscle a little bit quicker, but don't you want to not lose that muscle in the first place? If your goal is to become an IFBB pro, have the most muscle humanly possible, why would you sacrifice or limit some of those gains?
So what's your calorie intake per day?
So I track it. Let's see what the last couple of days have been. But it's been good in terms of being at 2,500. Yeah, 2380, 23. I've even been going below.
And Fouad, he's shocked. You can see it. 2380. Fouad's shocked. He reacts. He's thinking, how on earth can you have that much muscle, cut your calories to less than half, and still continue to train and make gains? But one thing they don't discuss, one thing they don't talk about, is the fact he's on performance-enhancing drugs. We don't know if on a bulk he goes on lower doses and on a cut he adds in something. How do we know he's not only on HRT when he's bulking, and then when he goes on a cut he adds in tren? It could be a number of things. Perhaps he goes on a cut, adds in growth hormone, ups the doses, does anything. And so when they ask, hey, do you have the same strength? Are you able to lift the same weights? Do you still get a pump? Yeah, absolutely. Well, how do we know that's not because he's added in certain specific compounds? They do not want to discuss this. They're not talking about this. And so we simply don't know. But I can tell you, and I promise you this, if you go from a bulk to a cut and you eat less than half of the calories you're eating on a bulk, you are going to limit your gains. There's no way you can go on a bulk, make all those gains, and eat half of that and have the same amount of gains. It doesn't make sense. It's not possible. And if it was, why would you go on that big of a bulk in the first place? Think of it. If you're making gains, no problem, great pump, living life, having a great time in the gym, nothing's hindering your progress at 2,500 calories, why would you eat 5,000 calories if it's not making a massive difference? And so if it's helping you a ton to go up to 5,000 calories, it has to hurt you to go to 2,500 calories. That's why I keep saying to main gain. Why not eat 4,000 calories year out? He did that for the first 3 years of his training, as he described in this video earlier on. But since that time, he's been going on bulks and cuts. He bulks for perhaps 3 or 4 months, and he says in the first month or two, he gains most of that weight. And at the end of that, he's basically maintaining a bulk. He literally said this in a video. He's maintaining his bulk. He's not going up in weight. He's not continuing to gain all that. And he gains the most amount of weight in the first week. He described 8 pounds he gained in the first week alone. And he knows what he's doing. He knows it's not all muscle. A lot of it is food, water, glycogen, and so on. Fouad describes on a bulk, perhaps you can gain 2 pounds of muscle per month. And so do not expect that if you say you put on 20 or 30 pounds in your bulk, that it's all muscle. It's not going to be all muscle. Once you diet down, you'll discover how much muscle you actually put on after all that eating.
Are you noticing a difference in pump?
No. Make sure I'm fully hydrated, get some electrolytes in my system. I get pumped every time.
Ian,
I was freaking out about the arm pump today.
And so he states, no, I'm not losing a pump. I feel amazing. I'm throwing up the 70s for 4 sets of 10. But here's the thing. If he was eating 3,500 calories instead of 2,500 calories, would he not be able to lift even more? 4 sets of 10 with the 70s perhaps would be 4 sets of 11 with the 70s. And so let's do some quick math. He's eating over 5,000 calories a day. Perhaps his maintenance is around 4,500. Remember, he's in a bulk. He has to eat above his maintenance. His maintenance, 4,500 calories. If he's in a cut eating 2,500 calories, that's 2,000 calorie deficit every single day. Times 7, 14,000 calories, 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. That's equal to 4 pounds of fat he's going to lose each and every week. That is an extreme deficit. 1,000 calorie deficit, that is a lot. You're losing 2 pounds of fat a week. That is a lot. And so if you're losing 4 pounds of fat a week, that is a starvation diet. And the fact he's able to continue to keep his progress, he's saying he's close to peak strength even compared to he's in a bulk. The reason for that, and remember, he's 21 years of age, because of steroids. Let's not pretend that you can just eat in a 2,000 calorie daily deficit and keep all the strength you had when you're on a bulk. The average person, if they were to try this diet, they're not going to see nearly the same results.
He's not coming down to like diet for a show. So I think for when you're like just trying to resensitize yourself, I think just to smash him down, get yourself nice and hungry, resensitize things, like that works.
Yeah, but he's doing this for 2 months. He's not doing it for 2 weeks. All that hard work in the bulk is you're gonna lose some muscle.
Exactly. Fouad is bang on here. He's saying, I get this. If this was a 2-week reset, you're eating in a dramatic calorie deficit, well, I can get that. You're just trying to reset your hunger and so on. But you're doing this for 2 months, a 2,000 calorie daily deficit. 4 pounds of fat a week for a month alone is 12 pounds of fat. That is a lot. 2 months, 24 pounds of fat. And have you seen Sam Sulek in his peak bulk? Does he look fat to you? Does he look like he needs to lose a significant amount of weight? And so perhaps I can understand cutting from 15% to 10 back and forth. If he wants to do that, fine. But does he need to do it faster than last time? Why not be in a small calorie surplus? Fouad's point is that the smaller the deficit, the more muscle you're going to maintain. If you try to strip off all that body fat too quickly, some of it is inevitably going to be muscle.
I disagree because he just said he was tracking it. When you're looking at the thing, it's still like...
Of course, he's going to keep gaining, right? But it's like, how much are you gaining?
Just because a diet is working doesn't mean it's working optimally. In the same sense, you could go to the gym and lift half-assed the entire time, and you're saying, well, I put on 5 pounds of muscle this year. Yeah, it's great, it's working, but could it work better? Perhaps if you tracked your repetitions, trained to within 3 reps in reserve, or perhaps trained to failure, would that not offer you better results? And so it's not about saying, does it work or does it not work? It's about, does it work optimally?
My point was when he said he was doing 5,200, I remember you telling me like if you went to 4,500, you would lose weight on the scale. So my point was if you're losing weight at 4,500, you don't need to go to 2,500. You can still keep eating more and still.
Well, that wouldn't be like on the 40. Like if I dropped it to 45 if I was doing 52 for a week.
Yeah.
It's not like I would lose any fat. I would just get less full of carbs. It's like my new sort of bulked weight would just be lower.
And so, yes, Sam is correct. He's eating 5,200. If he went down to 4,500, he's not necessarily dropping any body fat, although the weight on the scale will go down. It's most likely glycogen, water, and food weight. But could he not then just go down to 4,000 calories? If 4,500 is his maintenance, and he doesn't want to just simply maintain his weight, he wants his body fat to go down, why not drop it down to 4,000 or perhaps 3,500? Would a 3,500 calorie diet being 1,000 calories below his maintenance, would that not be enough? 2 pounds of fat a week. Is that not good enough? But perhaps he wants it faster than last time. Perhaps he wants to see dramatic changes faster than ever before. The dopamine rush from seeing yourself getting those shreds, the veins, vascularity, striations, perhaps he doesn't want to wait several months. He wants to see it right now. When you're young, you're very often impatient, and so perhaps Sam wants to see the shreds with only 2 months of dieting.
But I mean, over the last two good cuts, I've gotten pretty diced, and I was still heavier than before.
No, and look, I'm not saying it. Obviously, it works, and obviously, it's working for you. I just wonder if you kept eating a little bit more food, if you'd retain more muscle from the bulk.
Well, obviously it works. He's 21 years old and not natty. I mean, he could do anything. He could literally be eating ramen noodles, bulking on chocolate milk and cereal and burgers and fries, cutting on a starvation diet, and still put on muscle. Oh, wait, that's what he's doing. Oh, I forgot about that. But do you think this is going to continue to ever? Do you think when he's 31 years of age, perhaps as old as Ian Valliere, having competed for years, do you think he'll be able to get away with this? Of course not. And so, yeah, when you're young, 15, 16, 17, 21, you can do anything and make gains. You can train and do everything wrong. You can eat the wrong kinds of food, hardly eat any protein, you're still making progress. But are you progressing optimally, and are you healthy?
Ian, would you agree that the more muscle you have, the easier it is to lose? Maybe loses.
Yeah, I think for anything, the farther you away you are from homeostasis is going to be harder to maintain.
Exactly. And since Sam is only 21 and he's got so much more muscle that he can put on, it's much easier for him to retain it. When he goes on these diets, his body isn't thinking, oh my goodness, it's so hard to maintain 230 pounds of muscle. It's not at that level yet. But once he gets to 250 pounds lean, it's going to be that much more difficult. And so the older you get, the further you go above your maintenance, the harder it is to not only build muscle, but to retain it when you're on a diet.
But if he's saying his training performance isn't suffering, then I don't think that there's a significant risk of muscle loss.
And so here's the thing. Ian is saying if his training performance isn't suffering, he's probably not going to lose as much muscle. Yes, and Ian is 100% correct. But if he were to eat more calories rather than maintaining that muscle, he could in fact put more of it on. Well, I keep preaching about maintaining. It's not that it builds more muscle than bulking. It's just that you're slowly building muscle the entirety of the year. If you're bulking for 3 months, you're putting on muscle during those 3 months, absolutely, I get it. But then if you cut for 3 months, you're not putting on muscle during that cut. You're perhaps maintaining at best, and if you diet too hard, you're going to lose some of it, especially if you're far above your maintenance. And so what Fouad is saying is bulking, cutting, that's great, but not to this extent. Not in a 2,000 calorie deficit. Fouad, I'm sure, if he was his coach, would be saying, hey, try eating 3,500 calories. Why don't we go in a 1,000 calorie deficit, lose the weight slower, so that we can not only maintain muscle while we're dieting, but we can actually build onto it. Imagine Sam Sulek, he's bulking, putting on muscle, and cutting and putting on muscle. Is that not a better scenario than bulking, putting on muscle, and cutting and maintaining it? That is what I'm saying. So you can hate me as much as you want. Oh, Coach Greg, you're talking about Sam Sulek too much. Yeah, whatever. But I want you to learn something. I want you to be able to go to the gym and eat effectively to maximize your progress.
I think maybe going that low for 2.5 months, I don't think you might need to go that long. I think for something like that, if you're going to drop that low, maybe in like 6 weeks would probably be long enough, you know?
And so Ian even says, look, 2 months, 2.5 months dieting that hard, it's a little much. Perhaps 4 to 6 weeks. I could see you dieting that hard for 4 to 6 weeks, but anything longer than that, doesn't think it's a great idea.
My point of it is, if you can lose weight at 3,500 calories or 4,000 calories, you're still going to reset your body, and you're still going to hold in, but you're also going to hold on to more muscle.
Exactly. Is anyone going to disagree with Fouad said? Does anyone think he's not making sense?
So it's not that eating 25 is not going to work. It's just, why not retain as much of that muscle that you've put on as possible while still losing weight?
Exactly.
So, but do you think that at 2,500 calories, if he's hitting his protein intake, he's going to actually lose muscle?
And so Ian says, well, do you think he's still going to lose muscle? He's still eating his protein intake. Yeah, he might not lose muscle, but might not gain it either. Just because Sam doesn't lose any muscle doesn't mean he didn't lose his gains. If you could have gained 2 pounds of muscle on a cut and you gained 0, did you in fact lose muscle? No, you maintained it, but you didn't gain the 2 pounds you would have. And so my opinion, Sam Sulek should eat more. Not in his off-season bulking, but during his cut. Off-season, if he wants to bulk 5,000 calories a day, fine. But when he's cutting, he shouldn't be eating 2,500. He's not getting ready for the Olympus stage. He doesn't need to get to 5% body fat, and so why is he eating in such a deficit? doesn't make sense if his goal is to maximize muscle growth. And if you're 100% natural and you're trying to maximize your gains, especially if you're in a dramatic cut, perhaps you want to check out G-Test. Oftentimes when you diet, your testosterone levels are going to go down. G-Test is not the test boosters of old. With the scientifically backed ingredients, can boost testosterone by up to 200 to 400 nanograms per deciliter. Also, EctiBuilder with various steroids can in fact boost your performance, increase your rate of muscle growth, and on a cut, help you to retain muscle, prevent catabolism. And as always, GO2 Max, more energy, become a better butter burner, main ingredient, NMN, shown in countless research studies to improve your cardiovascular performance, not only in trained athletes, but even in couch potatoes, guys that aren't working out. They improve their walking test score by 50%. This, my favorite supplement. Interested in Seco protein bars, creatine, protein powder, pre-workout, stim, non-stim, everything on the website. We also have cookbooks, training books, the Circle diet book, so much going on, as well as coaching plans. Please visit the website, code Greg, 10% off. And if you have no money, don't worry. Head over to the website, get stuff for free. Free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. It's free. Free diet and training program. What are you waiting for? Are you kidding me? It's free. You want something for free? Get over to the website. First name, last name, email address. It's coming straight to you. Subscribe. Click the bell button. Comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Obviously, watch at least one of the boops. And until next time, don't forget about my clothing line. The website right now. I am out.